Hello everyone, welcome to WeCode channel. So today we are going to set up a Jenkins server by using EC2 from AWS. Before jumping into the content, make sure you have installed the Putty. This is a little program that allows you to make SSH for our machine that we will create. And also, uh, we need to have created an AWS account to make sure that we have access to all the features of Amazon Web Services. So, before we start the tutorial, the Jenkins is an application that allows you to automate some tasks. Um, this application is widely used because allows you to implement continuous integration and continuous deployment in your project, so you can build your project, um, run your tests or unit tests, integration tests, and deploy your application, for example. Um, so um, let's go and create a Jenkins server in our instance. So first of all, let's access to our AWS dashboard. I hope you have access to this. So let's type EC2 and we are going to create an instance. So you click on launch instance. We are going to give a name, a nice naming. So we can Jenkins Ubuntu server, for example. Let's select a base image. We can go with Ubuntu. Seems fine to run the Jenkins server. So this is a free tier, so you don't worry about the costs. This is completely free. Regarding to instance type, we can go with T2 micro. Here, for a key pair, this is basically a file that allows you to authenticate by using SSH. So you will need this afterwards in Putty program. So let's create a new key pair. This is basically a public key, private key. So if you are working on a Windows machine, you have to select this one. That will work with Putty. Keep attention that this one won't work in Windows machine, only in Linux. So make sure you have selected this one. And let's give it a meaningful name. So Ubuntu Jenkins key pair seems fine. Create a key pair. As you notice, automatically was downloaded the file, so you will need afterwards this file every time you launch the instance. And if you want to access by SSH, you need this file to authenticate and access the machine. So let's go ahead and create a security group. So basically, security group is a feature that allows you to create rules and define who has access to your instance. So let's keep Jenkins security group. Make sure you give meaningful names because afterwards it's easier to understand who is using this kind of resources. So here we will have a new security group rule. So let's select 88 port for custom TCP and have another one for HTTP. So regarding to source type, I recommend you to select my IP. So we are saying that only this IP will have access by SSH to our machine, and we can make the same thing for the other options. So once you have configured our security group, we have everything set up so we can launch an instance. This takes some time to get the machine up and running. So let's check the instance you have created. I have created some of them, but this one that has pending state is the one that we will install Jenkins inside of it. So let's wait a little bit. Meanwhile, we can open the Putty program. I hope you have installed this program to access our machine and install the Java and Jenkins. So it seems that are running. Let's check the details. Here we have some details regarding our machine. You will need this public address. Let's copy this. And basically this program allows you to access a machine by using SSH. So here you have to paste the public address, and this is the user. So for our machine, the user is Ubuntu. And then we need to select authentication and pick the file that has been downloaded before. Open. And now we can open and try to access the machine. So we can now install everything to get our Jenkins server up and running. So let's check the official documentation. I always recommend you to check the documentation because it's always evolving, it's always getting new updates. So this kind of videos turns deprecated very often. So let's check the documentation. So install Jenkins on Ubuntu. Let's access to Jenkins official website. So as you can see, we have some prerequisites to be able to run the Jenkins in our machine. So we need to install Java. So let's install it before we install the Jenkins. So once you have access to the machine, you can install everything you want. So let's update our system. Install the Java 11. Type yes. And let's check if you have already installed our application successfully. So let's check the version, and as you can see, you have already installed the Java. So let's go ahead and install the Jenkins. Make sure you follow the steps regarding your target operating system. Ours is Ubuntu, so we need to looking for these following tasks. Let's copy each one and running our machine. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward. Let's update our system. Type yes. And I hope that now we have configured the Jenkins. Let's see if everything works as expected. Is setting up the Jenkins basically. Okay, I think everything is done. So now to have access to the Jenkins user interface, uh, we just need to copy this public address. Sorry, and access it to HTTP. Make sure you don't select HTTPS, it won't work. And our port will be 88 that you have defined before. As you can see, we have installed successfully Jenkins in our machine. So basically he says that we have to access this password in order to unlock this stage. So let's get to read this file. Okay, so we need to authenticate as root. So this is the password we have to type. Continue. And here you can also customize your installation, but we can go with recommended plugins. And we need to wait for the installation of some plugins. So as you can see, it's pretty straightforward to setting up the Jenkins server. So now we are able to add Jenkins file to your project, or even use the pipeline embedded tool and implement continuous integration, continuous deployment in your project. Here you can type a username and a password you need to remind in the next session. So I recommend you to go with Jenkins as username and Jenkins and password. And save and continue. So this is our URL. So just one note. So as you can see, we have installed successfully the Jenkins. So this is not a static address. So every time you restart your instance, this will be a different one. So make sure you every time you restart your instance to copy and paste here the updated address. And the same as for the ACSH protocol when you are using Putty. If you want to to have a static um, address, you have to configure elastic IP address. So I'm not going cover this topic in this video, but you can looking for IP elastic address and see how to configure to this account. So thank you for following the video. Please subscribe and support the channel and hit the like if this was helpful for you. Bye.